This is a picture of the darker areas are the wealthier regions. And if you notice, the reason why that was significant that I showed you the population map is because out here you can see that the population is vastly larger in the west. Yet it's really in the east where a lot of the income is greater because these were where the natural resources are. And so if you could show the next slide. This is the natural resources. And you see here that a lot of the natural resources out here, but most of the people live around here. And so Russia has a lot of natural resources, yet they're not building up their other industries. Corruption. I've talked a little bit about it already, but huge problem. Unrestricted shift from communism to capitalism. And what I mean by that is the fact that people argue that it didn't go slowly enough, but it didn't go fast enough either. And so there was this change in power when the Soviet Union collapsed, a lot of the agencies collapsed too. And what that means is, and although the institutions didn't fundamentally change, for a time they weren't really enforcing anything. And this allowed state-owned industries. This happened towards the end of the Soviet Union, and at the beginning, and continues now, of the current Russia. But a lot of the managers and stuff like that would divert a lot of the resources, which is called state stripping. And what they did is they take the resources and then sell it for much higher prices for themselves. And that's a big problem. And then, because a lot of the companies too would just get bailed out by the government again, even though they were losing money continually. And then patronage system. Boris Yeltsin is one significant person who did that a lot. That's part of the reason why shock therapy failed, was because he would give positions to people that really just helped him out politically. And also a lot of politicians do personal favors for friends in return for power and money. This is a case a lot of times with with companies. So there's a lot of bribery. And so things such as reducing tariffs, investigating competing companies has been prevalent. And then a lot of while in the USSR, the officials sought to maintain the political system. And so they were corrupt in that way. However, now with the collapse of the Soviet Union, a lot of the officials have diverted to their own personal needs. So they're less concentrated necessarily on the power as much as on having money. And then soft budgets, companies pay officials for soft budgets. Soft budgets are really budgets that are not well backed, budgets that allow them to make a deficit, yet they still get bailed out by the government. And then corruption, mafia is a huge factor in Russia. This was actually at the very beginning of the Russian Federation, but you can see how large it was. So this is really just a challenge from the beginning of how most of the underground, although the economy wasn't very big, most of the economy that was still there was run by the mafia. And the mafia allowed them to buy out, or the last profits that they made allowed them to buy out officials, which furthered their cause of corruption. And their focus is on maintaining corruption so that they can maintain themselves. And then this is bribes are just needed basically in most of the economy. Bribes are actually needed to get off the ground. Whether or not you have a corrupt cause or not, you still need to bribe officials in order to get yourself going, which is a big problem. And so foreign investors see this as a problem for actually investing in the country because they are worried about their assets. And then